high street is dying. June 2026. Not slowly, not quietly, but in a collapse so fast that shops are boarding up faster than the country can count them, while organised looters strip what's left, and one word now hangs over our town centres: lawless. Thousands of shops have already gone dark, part of a wider wave that saw around 14,000 stores close in a single year, taking 150,000 jobs down with them. That works out at dozens of shutters coming down every single day, in town after town, leaving boarded-up units where the heart of a community used to be. And these dying high streets aren't just losing to the internet, they're being looted. Shopkeepers in parts of London are now openly describing their own streets as lawless, bracing for swarms of youths who run riot through shops, set off fireworks, and assault anyone who stands in the way. This is the double blow killing the British high street. Strangled by costs on one side, stripped bare by crime on the other. And the people who own these shops are out of road. But real quick, before we lay out the full scale of this collapse.
UK police have made several arrests after clashes between far-right demonstrators and counter-protesters over the weekend. It follows violent disorder in cities like Belfast last week.
Let's be honest about the spin. The official line will talk about high streets evolving and adapting. What they won't say plainly is that thousands of shops are closing every year, that looting is now part of the picture, and that the people running them feel utterly abandoned. That's why we built British Front Media, to call the death of the high street what it is. If you want the truth about Britain's emptying town centres, subscribe now. Your subscription keeps this channel independent. Reason number 1, the closures aren't a trend, they're a collapse, and it's speeding up. Start with the raw scale, because the numbers are staggering. According to the Centre for Retail Research, around 13,500 stores closed in 2024, an average of 37 every single day, and the following year was even worse, with roughly 14,000 closures and 150,000 jobs lost. The forecasts offer no relief. The same researchers warned that this year is likely to bring a similar number, and earlier projections ran as high as 17,000 plus. Now understand what that's done to the physical street. Research shows traditional high streets have already lost around 30% of their stores, nearly a third gone. Footfall remains 15 to 20% below pre-pandemic levels and simply hasn't recovered. Read that again. 1 in 3 high street shops wiped out, with fewer people walking past the ones that remain. This isn't a slow evolution into something new, it's a vertical drop. And every one of those 37 daily closures is a shuttered window, a redundancy letter, and another gap-toothed hole in a town that used to be alive. Reason number 2, and the names disappearing are the ones you grew up with. This isn't faceless. It's brands woven into British life vanishing one after another. In the space of 2 years, the casualty list has read like a roll call of the high street. Ted Baker, The Body Shop, Homebase, Carpetright, and Lloyd's Pharmacy all collapsed, downsized, or disappeared entirely. And the bleeding hasn't stopped. This year alone, Claire's has gone into administration with 154 stores shutting. River Island closed dozens, and Poundland is shutting around 100 branches. It reaches into every corner of the high street. Fashion chain. Phase 8 is closing up to 400 branches. Even the charity shops that usually fill the empty units are retreating, with Cancer Research and the British Heart Foundation closing scores of stores and shifting online. The banks are fleeing too, with Lloyd's Banking Group shutting dozens of branches as customers move to apps. Think about what that leaves behind. When the clothes shop, the pharmacy, the bank, and even the charity shop all pull out of the same street, there is no high street left, just a row of dark windows and a memory of what used to be there. Reason number 3, they're being strangled by costs, much of it inflicted on them. So why is this happening at this speed? Part of the answer is brutal economics, and a painful amount of it comes straight from government decisions. In April 2025, business rates relief was slashed from 75% down to 40%, meaning a shop that previously paid £8,000 a year suddenly faced nearly £3,000 in extra tax, in an industry where average profit margins are around 7%. On top of that, the British Retail Consortium warned that a hike to employer national insurance would cost the sector £2.3 billion, with rising minimum wages piling on more. And those are just the visible costs. Small retailers are quietly bled by card processing fees of up to 3.5% on every transaction, by soaring energy bills, and by an oversupply of shops chasing shrinking consumer spending. The director of the Centre for Retail Research was blunt about the cause, citing the increase in taxes and wages that have made some stores simply uneconomic. So before a single looter shows up, The high street shop is already fighting for its life against a tide of rising costs, much of it landed on them by the very people who claim to want to save the high street. Reason number 4, and then comes the looting, the blow that finishes them off. Here is where the strangulation becomes a killing. Into a sector already on its knees, add a wave of crime that the shopkeepers themselves now call lawlessness. In Clapham, hundreds of teenagers ran riot through shops, setting off fireworks and assaulting police, in unrest organised on social media, with traders bracing for more and describing London as lawless. This is on top of the everyday surge in retail crime, the swarms, the smash and grabs, and the organised gangs stripping shelves to order. And crime carries its own crushing bill. As one retail analysis put it, crime and antisocial behaviour are adding hidden costs for security, insurance, and replacing stolen or damaged stock, an extra burden many small shops simply cannot carry. Picture the maths for an independent owner already paying more tax, more wages, more energy, and now bleeding stock to thieves while paying for guards and shutters to slow them down. For a shop running on a 7% margin, the looting isn't an inconvenience. It's the final straw. The economics empty the till, the crime empties the shelves. Together, they empty the street. Reason number 5, and it's the independents, the soul of the high street, dying first. This is the cruelest part of the collapse. The big chains can absorb a bad year, restructure, shift online. The independent shop, the family business, the local trader cannot. Retail researchers are explicit that independent retailers are the most vulnerable, often unable to withstand even minor economic shocks, let alone a tax rise and a crime wave at once. Without the capital to install CCTV or security shutters, every theft is a wound they can't afford, and eventually the doors close for good. And here's where it becomes a doom loop. When those shops go dark, the empty units themselves become the problem. One former department store that shut years ago has reportedly become a magnet for crime, with another large vacant branch labelled a death trap. So the closures breed decay, the decay breeds crime, and the crime drives away the customers and the shops that remain. Each boarded up window makes the next closure more likely. This is how a high street doesn't just shrink, but rots, one empty unit at a time, until the whole street tips from struggling to abandoned. Reason number 6. And nothing in the official response is built to stop this. So where is the rescue? It isn't coming, at least not at the speed this crisis demands. The government's tools are slow and small against a fast, structural collapse. A new offence for assaulting a retail worker is still being finalised. Tweaks to business rates, analysts point out, don't even help the worst-hit areas, because many struggling shops already pay little or no rates, and the real problem is oversupply and lost footfall. The policy is aimed at the wrong target while the patient bleeds out. And the most telling sign of all is what's being done with the corpses. Across the country, local authorities are converting town centres into mixed-use destinations, turning former shops into flats, offices, and leisure venues. A former department store became a university campus, another a defence industry training facility. On the surface, regeneration. But read it honestly, and it's an admission of defeat. They are no longer trying to save the shops. They are planning for a future without them. When the official strategy is to convert the high street into something that isn't a high street anymore, the question of whether the shops can be saved has already been quietly answered. So here's where we stand in June 2026. Around 14,000 shops are closing a year, 37 a day, with 150,000 jobs gone, and nearly a third of all high street stores wiped out. Household names from Ted Baker to the body shop to Claire's have collapsed. The banks and charity shops are fleeing too, and the survivors are strangled by slashed rates, relief, tax hikes and rising costs. On top of all that, looters run riot, shopkeepers call their own streets lawless, and crime delivers the final blow to independents who can't afford to fight it. The empty units rot into crime magnets, and the official plan is increasingly to convert what's left into flats. The government talks of regeneration and a new law on retail crime, and perhaps some of it is sincere. But a conversion plan doesn't save a shop, and a law still being drafted doesn't stop the mob tonight. So here are the questions every community in Britain deserves answered. How did we let the high street, the beating heart of every town, collapse at 37 shops a day while calling it evolution? How many independents have to be looted and taxed into the ground before lawless town centres are treated as the emergency they plainly are? And when the strategy becomes turning our shops into flats, what exactly are we telling the next generation about the kind of country they're inheriting? Because the shutters are coming down, street by street, town by town. The looters are running riot through what's left. And the British High Street, the one your parents shopped on, is being declared lawless and left to die.